Aussie. Aussie's here to say hi to us. Aussie. Say hi to camera, Aussie. Say hi to the camera, Aussie. Anyways, so engine bay painted. I'm actually quite impressed with the results that I got out of it, and I've never sprayed flake onto, I guess, a surface. This is my first time doing it. I'm actually happy with the results. Couldn't be any more happier. Yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really excited. So I'm liking where this is going with the EG build. So what I'm gonna do today, let me move over here a little bit more. But what I'm gonna do today is pretty much get everything bolted back up to the firewall. So like the brake lines and whatnot, the brake booster. I'm not gonna do none of that crazy stuff, the brake booster delete, or like the S2K master cylinder, whatever they call it. I don't know. Usually the S2K clutch master cylinder is just the one piece, rather than the actual Civic one is a two-piece one. We're not gonna do none of that crazy stuff. We're just gonna keep this simple, subtle, and looking pretty cool, I guess. Glitter, not subtle. Yeah, as I said, we're gonna start mounting everything back up. I'm most likely going to delete the clutch line because I do have a flexible clutch line that I will be replacing it with, but for now I'm just gonna put it back onto the firewall, and I'm gonna cut it where I feel like I want to cut it, because I still need to see if the actual hose that I bought will reach the master and come all the way over here to where the transmission is at. So I'm gonna put you guys on the tripod, and I'm just gonna start putting everything back on the firewall. So another thing I ended up buying as well are these purple hoses. I got them off eBay. I think it was about 40 bucks. But check it out. They look pretty cool. So they're purple, G+. So yeah, they're coolant hoses. They're meant to replace the heater core hoses, the radiator hoses, I guess, and I don't know what else, but I know it's gonna I know we need it for the small piece on the pipe that goes back into the heater core. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. Here, I think it's this one right here. I'm pretty sure I saw it. So yeah, I ended up finding it. It took a while, but basically this is the one that goes to the firewall. You can kind of see. We might have to trim it up a bit, but I think this is the correct one. So I'm gonna go ahead and test fit it. So back in 1992, we just didn't care about emissions because I guess this is a purge canister. I'm not sure. Yeah, it says purge right there. Licensed from Esso, Hitachi, Tokyo, Japan. So yeah, so this literally goes under the vehicle. It just goes right here, and all the vent just goes under your vehicle and coats it with vented oil. How fucking awesome is that? Like, wow, emissions, wow. So before it gets too crazy dark, because sun's pretty much setting, I only have about 2 to 3 hours to work on this car every day after work, and this is the first day I'm working on it after work, but I think we did some pretty good progress here. We have the brake booster mounted, the brake master cylinder mounted, all the brake lines mounted, the proportioning valve, the fuel filter, the purge canister valve, whatever you want to call it, the water inlet for the heater core with the recirculation, no, not recirculation, from hot to cold. And I had to trim the hose quite a bit, actually. See, I trimmed it about 2 to 3 times. Yeah, there's another piece over there. So yeah, these hoses are not perfect. You have to play with them a little bit. And if you guys are wondering, hey Seabass, why would you paint all these other studs but you didn't paint these studs? Well, I didn't paint these because I'm using nuts. I'm using nuts with them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come back in here with a black paint and just get it with like a brush, just so it kind of blends in with them. That way there's no red being exposed. But I didn't want to paint those because I didn't want to go back and clean the threads so that the nuts can go back in easily. But anyways, that's it for now. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I still gotta go still gotta go have dinner. Wow, I can't speak today. I still gotta go have dinner, and I do have the clutch master over here and the slave. I think I'm gonna go ahead and mount that, but I'm not gonna use this. I'm gonna use the flexible hose that I bought from eBay. So I think this is gonna be the last that I do for today because it's already getting pretty dark. But as you guys can see, I already mounted the subframe. Wasn't too bad, but I'm not gonna go any further now because I'm going to do a power steering conversion. So this is a manual rack or a manual subframe, and from what I'm understanding is this bracket right here is not the same between the power and the manual rack. And I don't know if the steering rack is going to be too fat for this to not be in the way. So I'm going to wait till I get this power steering rack to see how much of an issue that's going to be. But I did do something. I actually mounted my hood hinge and the cable, and I got these zip ties from Amazon. They're the ones that go into the holes. I didn't completely tighten them down because I don't know if I'm going to be running any wires right here because of the fog lights. I am going to get the fog lights, but I think I'm also going to run the wires for the headlights through this way. So I don't want to just zip tie them completely shut. So that's going to be a video that's going to be more for another day. But if you guys are interested in the part numbers, so I got a Dorman hood release cable, there it is, and then I got a TRQ hood latch. So the only reason I got these is because the one I had before was really crusty and all kind of rusty, and I wanted one that was already painted black. You can see this one's painted black, so looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna call it a day right now. It's pretty late, and I think I did some pretty decent progress. So that's the new flywheel. It's a Luke, L-U-K, I guess that's how you call it. And this is the old one. So the only reason I ended up buying a new flywheel from Rock Auto is because the local machine shop to me charges $50 to resurface a flywheel. And this was about $40-ish from Rock Auto. So I was like, I might as well just buy a new one than get this one resurfaced. So that's the route I ended up going with. So you can see those were over torqued. Like, are they supposed to look like that? It looks over torqued to me. But anyways, I already went ahead and transferred out the pilot bearing. So the one I had in here was a new one from the Exetti kit I had purchased about 3 years ago. And again, mind you, that Exetti kit probably only saw about 100 miles, and that was it. So I was twisting the bearing and it was pretty good. So what I ended up doing was I pretty much got one of these sockets and I put it right here and I pushed it out. I I pushed it out of the flywheel, and then I laid the new flywheel flat, and then you have to pretty much go from the back and tap it in. So I just got the socket and I just went like that, and you can see it's a perfect circle. So I was just pushing it down with the hammer and it went in there perfectly fine. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go get some blue Loctite so that I could put it on the flywheel bolts and I guess reuse them. I think these are ARP ones, APR, whatever you want to call them. So those are reusable. So another thing I forgot to mention was I did replace the rear main seal, and I didn't re-gasket this cover. Doesn't seem like it's leaking, or doesn't seem like it started to leak, so I'm gonna leave that alone because I think removing that involves me removing the oil pan, which I don't want to do. So I'm gonna leave that alone. It doesn't seem like it's leaking, so I think it should be fine. So now we're gonna put the flywheel onto the B20, and we have some, I don't know, I think hopefully it's not dry, but I do have blue thread locker, so hopefully it's, at least this one I should have something. I don't even need that much, just a little bit, and I think we should be good to go. So I already got the flywheel installed. I got the clutch disc from Exetti. This is a OE style clutch, nothing special. Don't need a stage 1. This is more than enough for just a daily driver. And I got the clutch tool from the last time I did it. All these other ones are probably for the Toyota ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray this with some brake clean real quick, make sure it's clean. And I got the bolts over there, so we're gonna slap that on real quick. So just a quick little recap. I got the flywheel bolts torqued to 76 foot-pounds, and then I got the pressure plate torqued down to 20 foot-pounds, which is what I got off the Integra forums. Same engine, right? But anyways, with that being torqued down, we're now able to remove the clutch tool. Set those aside, don't lose them. And now we're gonna mate the transmission to the engine. And with doing so, we have to use molly grease. Thank you, dog, for just barking away. We have to use molly grease. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the pilot bearing. Is that what the, no, not pilot bearing, throwout bearing. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the throwout bearing, clean this up as well, and just re-lubricate it. Even though it probably already is. I don't know, I'll put a little bit. I'm gonna clean it up just because it's been out here for a cool minute, and go ahead and put it back on.